Hello people! Today I want to share with you a thought that came up to my mind about the different kinds of motivations. You know, very often when I thought about motivation, my first thought was this motivation that I call the sugar motivation. Yes, I want to go there. Yeah. I want to reach that. Yes. This motivation that brings you a lot of energy and you focus everything on coming to that point. And of course that is a very powerful motivation. You can find that kind of motivation, for example, in the Hollywood movies. One of the actors that I like a lot is Bruce Willis, and he's always full of that energy in his films, and very often because, for example, of revenge, because he's taking revenge. Or another source is when I have to push my ego, when I want to be the greatest, the best and whatever, and that gives me the energy and motivation to do inclusive, very stupid things sometimes. Of course, it can bring you also forward and you can develop yourself through that kind of chakra motivation. But there's another kind of motivation, and I think it's more a long-term motivation. And where does it come from? I recognize that even in sometimes frustrating processes, I was not that much frustrated. I was frustrated maybe for a moment, but in the long term, I had a source inside that always pushed me forward. And that is kind of a motivation. I discovered at least that this is a kind of motivation. A motivation that has an objective that maybe it's clear for me that it's far away, that I cannot reach it because maybe there are some knowledge missing, or even I don't have the personality now to come to that point. But this inner motivation, which is silent, sometimes it's somehow behind the surface or under the surface, behind the things. But if you start to look for that inner motivation that is pushing your processes on a long distance, even passing valleys, passing periods of frustration, then you find a source that maybe is not that full of energy in the moment, but that carries you really for a long time, and you can reach those goals that really let you grow in your personality, and that gives you sense in your life. I think maybe this looking for sense in our life is that source of motivation, and we are looking for those things that we feel in a balance with ourselves, with our capacities, and somehow the wish to come closer to that gives us motivation. And as I said, it's a silent motivation. It's not that loud, it's not that full of energy, but it's a treasure, it's a precious thing. And we have to believe on it, we have to discover it. So I invite you to maybe also in the moments when you feel a frustration, when you feel things are not running, that you look behind, but what is your wish inside of that? And discover that even in those difficult moments, possibly there's a strength inside of you, and use that as a source, as a motivation, as a very positive aspect of you that wants to be developed, and go for it. And even in the small things, start in small things in the everyday life, and let's see where it brings you. Bye!